My name is Will Watson. I work for the Space Frontier Foundation. Let's see. You can break out your phones and scan the QR code if you wish. Also, my information's there. And follow the Space Frontier Foundation on Twitter. We have a NewSpace news feed. I'll post this at the end of the presentation as well. So, planet Earth, over 6 billion people, and yet we only have 6 people on board the International Space Station living and working. My organization, since 1988, has been pursuing increasing that ratio, amount of people that live and work off our pale blue dot. We'd like to see colonies. We would like to see people sustaining themselves on the resources that are in space. We believe not only can we end up utilizing the solar system, but beyond. Perhaps it's our mission as the human species to expand and bring life to other star systems and eventually beyond. The founders of the Space Frontier Foundation, along with founders of ISU, International Space University, and the X Prize Cup, were initially inspired by the High Frontier, written by Jerry O'Neill in the 70s. He was the first individual, or one of the first, to envision an economy in space and an industry that would permit the commercialization of space, utilization, advancement of technology that would allow large solar cell platforms in space, etc. So we landed on the moon in 1969, and then we left in 1972. 12 people stepped on the moon. And yet we left, and we haven't gone back. A lot of people wonder why. Then we built the space shuttle. 30 years, a lot of money, and yet we've only sent up a number of 100 people on this vehicle to low Earth orbit. Using the space shuttle today, thank goodness it's retired, is almost the equivalent of using this 1960s era computer. It's been an industry that's frozen in time, and while the space shuttle is an amazing and adaptable craft, it is something that is from a foregone era, not a 21st century vehicle. So how can we find the iPhone for the space industry? How can we help create it? That's really what we want. We want something out of those Star Trek or Star Wars videos. Competition. Creating a market in space, similar to what Steve Jobs and Bill Gates did for the computer industry. That's what we want. And we want to help make those Steve Jobs, help make those entrepreneurs out there successful. And that's been the part of the job of the Space Frontier Foundation. In 2004, the X Prize Cup was won. It was a huge milestone for what the foundation started calling back then NewSpace, a new way of doing business, a new way of traveling to space. This was the first private human spaceship. We believe NewSpace is the engine. This is what's going to enable space settlement. The foundation's about settlement, and NewSpace is how we are going to get there. What is NewSpace? NewSpace is Virgin Galactic. NewSpace is SpaceX. NewSpace is Blue Origins. X-Corp, Armadillo Aerospace. These are just naming a few of the many companies that are pursuing reducing the cost of space access. Bigelow Aerospace, they're focusing on creating a new destination. What we're after is creating an orbital industrial infrastructure, one that will enable us to go everywhere within space, because as Robert A. Heinlein says, 100 miles up and you're halfway to anywhere. A nice view from the International Space Station. 6 people. I think we could do better than that. Thank you for SGC for providing me this opportunity to talk to all of you. And I will finish with a short 4-minute video about the Space Frontier Foundation. You'll hear many of our board members and industry people speaking about what we're all about. Let's see if I can get this to play. Anyone want to hit the lights? Maybe you can help me with this.
Unforeseen communications. Yeah, this is
hotels and malls and restaurants and parks and all the things that we enjoy and take for granted. But I think all those things will become normal when we succeeded. In other words, opening the space frontier doesn't just mean putting a science base up there. It means that people are actually living and working and really taking space for granted.
We can choose to summon the future. It doesn't have to happen to us. We get to choose it sometimes. And space is the chance for us to choose what kind of future we want to live in. And many, many people find that irresistibly attractive, and I do myself.
I truly believe that it is our future. We belong in space, it is a part of us, and we need to do all that we can to get there.
My vision for the humanity in space is not just one that the pioneers, which many times are our scientists, our aerospace, our astronautical engineers that are part of, but it is inclusive of artists, business people,
and all those other people that you interact with, finding small ways to make them realize that space isn't just a fantasy and it's not just something that maybe their grandkids will see, but something that actually could really be open to them and to their kids soon.
Having a large and growing human presence in space is critical to the long-term future of our species. I was caught in by the dreams from a young age that the resources that are available in space, the possibilities for social development of different groups to go out and live in different parts of space would mean so much that we can't even really understand what it would be like.
when there's a time when we can play in space and we can truly have a neighbor in space and have all the interactions that we have here on the Earth in terms of work and play. That's when I think that's just when we're going to get started.
We have no idea what's really going to happen when people can travel to space on a relatively cheap basis and be able to send lots and lots of stuff into space, which we really can't do yet.
Space is where the new opportunities are for us to explore outside of just our world, and we have new technology that's always coming along, and there's always opportunities for us to go out there.
I think humanity has a future. Some people seem not to anymore. And I think it's a great and glorious future, and I think that inevitably means that space is going to be a very important part of it.
You've got entrepreneurial companies doing things that nobody's ever done before. You've got NASA turning a new page, and all of a sudden NASA and NewSpace are working together.
The Space Frontier Foundation pulls all those entrepreneurs together, provides a forum for people to get together and speak and share ideas and really see what's going on in the leading edge of space commercialization.
Of all the years that I've been coming to NewSpace, I think I've met potential clients here. I've met a few current business partners here. So it's a great way for any space enthusiast, whether you're involved in the industry as an entrepreneur or someone working in the industry at another level, or you're just interested in space as a hobby. I think it's a wonderful conference to attend.
There's a chance for the whole community to get involved. NewSpace is the future for space exploration.